Hey, Baker, did you ever think you'd miss practice this much?
No, I mean, obviously, it wasn't wanting to miss any time. They just changed the protocols from 10 days to 5 days after my sentencing. So, it is what it is. I talked about it after the game, was, heavily involved in the virtual meetings and all the installs. So, yeah, that's just something I don't like missing practice at all. I like being out there for every rep and talking through it with the guys, and just, the process is where the fun and joy is at. So, being able to see it from the beginning to the end. So that's not something I like missing at all.
Hey, we've talked to you a lot about some of the physical challenges you've had this year. From a mental standpoint, Baker, how tough has this season been for you?
I mean, any season's going to have its ups and downs. This one's had a little bit more, drama, should you say. But, it comes down to handling your business, trying to find ways to win any possible way, and doing that week in and week out. So right now we're just in a situation that it's very apparent that we have to win this game. And that's our job right now, and we're focused on that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Nate Ulrich is next.
Hey, Baker. In the interest of, sometimes having to talk about things that are more important than football, obviously we all saw Emily's post, and, when the phrase death threats is used, it seems pretty serious. How are you processing, the type of stuff that she's referencing there that she saw on social media?
It's hard for me to say not to listen to it, because, I have quite a bit of experience of hearing just a lot of opinions on the outside coming in. So it's hard when it comes down to somebody that you love, that you care about. She's not able to change some of the outcomes of the game, or any at all, should I say. And so it's just one of those things that, we're in a world today in society that there's a lot of keyboard warriors that, make empty threats and things like that, which it's quite honestly ignorant when they go after people that aren't directly involved in football. And then when you talk about taking your own life, killing somebody, or all that, that is just, that to me is ignorance. But I try not to listen to it, because those are not the people that I would listen to, whether it was good or bad, regardless. So it's tough to, tell your loved ones and your family not to defend you and look into that stuff. That's just human nature. But, you have to take it one day at a time and realize that, your priorities, your family members, the people that truly matter to you, those are the opinions you need to listen to. And it's just one of those things that it's, blown up to be a much bigger deal on the outside. And it's not like it's anything new for us.
Did it rise to the level of Brown security or authorities getting involved?
No, it's that, like I said, it's going to be made to be a much bigger deal than, as the media will do. So it's not that serious.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nate. We'll go to Mary Kay Cabot. Looks like Mary Kay may be frozen. We'll go to Dan Lobby for now.
Hey, Baker. I wanted to ask you about like fourth quarters, game-winning drives, things like that when they don't go your way. But when you're trying to figure that stuff out, I guess, how do you go through the week, kind of analyzing that, repping that, kind of making, trying to get some of those things right?
Throughout the week of practice afterwards, or leading up to it?
Yeah, I mean, how do you kind of, when you rewatch it on film, what are you looking for? And then, like, are there things you can do in practice to replicate stuff like that, or is it just something you have to be in the moment to kind of do, I guess?
I think there's a lot of in the moment things, but when you look back at it, there's oftentimes, more than not, it's little details of day one teaching of, footwork or depths, or, where we're IDing communication, all all those little things are, magnified in those critical moments during a fourth quarter. And that's why it's even more important that, we have to do our job at the very highest level possible, because in those critical moments, it's truly the little things that matter.
And then for these next two games, obviously I know this season has been difficult for a lot of reasons, but is there sort of do you kind of look at it as your opportunity to sort of seize the moment here?
I mean, anytime we're still in contention to make the playoffs, that's a great opportunity for us. So that's the way I'm going to handle it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Next up, Cam Justice.
Hey, Baker. You've been wearing that shoulder harness now for several weeks, and its function's designed to limit that range of motion in that shoulder. With that being said, has there been any adjustments that you and the AVP and maybe other trainers have had to make, like new footwork drills or mechanic exercises, that keeping that harness in mind when you're going through practice and preparing for game day?
No, I mean, I just try and treat it as game-like as possible, full speed reps. There's not much I can do to, overcome the harness and the restrictions, because that is protecting me. So it is what it is.
Is there anything that you've had to do to, like you said, not overcorrecting or overcompensating, to make sure that you don't, do anything like that as you go into the rest of the season and into next season when you have that full range of motion back in the shoulder and you can lose that harness?
No, I think it comes back to, trusting my fundamentals, my, my throwing motion of, finishing through my target. And that's been the biggest issue, is just keeping that momentum going towards the target. And that's, obviously it's like if you're teaching a 5-year-old how to throw, you finish towards your target momentum wise, unless you'll be falling off your back foot and the ball will sail on you. So it's just little things like that. And so, it's just something I've had to get used to.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cam. Scott Petra, go ahead.
Hey, Baker, how do you process an outing like the one against Green Bay? Is it something where you go back and watch it a bunch on film, or you try to forget about it?
Go back and watch what I need to, or watch it all the way through, then correct the mistakes that I need to, should I say. So, it's not harping over too much, because, we were still pretty close to winning that game. And did I play my best? Absolutely not. Did the rest of the guys around me play great? Yeah, I think they did. A few things that fell our way during that game, we would have won, but I have to make those corrections and, put us in the best position possible to win. And I didn't do that like I covered after the game. So it's not harping on the negative too much, but there is need to be, focused on it to correct it.
Where would you say your confidence level is, not only after that game, but after, kind of up and down first 15 games?
I'll be just fine. I'll be just fine. I'm not worried about that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Let's go to Jake Trotter.
Yeah. Hey, Baker, you've faced plenty of adversity in the past, but you were mentioning earlier, more drama this year than maybe past seasons. How challenging has it been dealing with the unique adversity you've faced this year? Even as recently as having to, fly up the day of the game after being out 2 weeks and everything else that preceded that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of firsts for me this year, but that comes with the territory and the position I'm in. So I have to handle it the best I possibly can. And I know I've said the cheesy cliche comment, there's no manual on how to handle this, and there hasn't been. So it's been one day at a time throughout this season. And to me, that's the only way to correctly handle it. And try and make the most of the opportunities, try and find the positives within a lot of the negativity around, whether, it was created by the outside or what. It's just, realizing the things that matter, prioritizing that, and, blocking out the rest to be able to focus on the job at hand.
You mentioned, I think before, sometimes it's hard to tune out all the outside noise, outside criticism. There are TVs in the building, for example. I think you've mentioned that before. Has it been more difficult, though, this year than maybe in the past to tune everything out?
I'd say yes, but only because, some of that drama earlier in the year was within the building, and it wasn't just directly outside. So it was, we had to handle a few things internally, and that's okay. We did that, and now we're here. So that's what matters.
Thank you, Jake. Ashley Bastock is next.
Hey, Baker, I know when we talked to you on Saturday after the game, you mentioned your feet, I think, on the red zone interception. And I guess I know you've worked so much on your footwork, just what that process has been like this year, and when things aren't going right, like that throw, what are you seeing, I guess, when you're watching film back?
Just the frustrating part of my right ankle rolling over the top and just falling back. And, I'm already committed to throwing that ball to Jarvis. That's where the ball should go. Coverage dictated that. And, my eyes are in the right spot. He's in the right spot. And just that minor mistake cost cost an interception. It cost us points. Obviously, we were in field goal range, but it would have been a first down conversion and moving forward to have more chances at a touchdown. So it's just little things, but just a very, very unfortunate and frustrating thing for me to have happen because I've made that throw a ton of times.
And then I know you're not going directly against Ben Roethlisberger on Monday, but he did talk today kind of, alluding to the fact that this is probably his last home regular season game at Heinz Field. I guess just the quarterback of that stature who's been in the league as long as he has, what kind of environment are you anticipating on Monday night on top of that element of it?
It's with everything in our division, the situation at hand for both teams right now, regardless of Ben's situation, I think it would be a great environment. And then to add on top of that, just everything that he's given to that franchise over the years, the success he's had consistently for a very, very long time. I have nothing but respect for Ben. And so I'm expecting just an even better environment, both teams to be playing for, the livelihood of the playoffs at hand. So it's just one of those things that everything's aligning to where this game matters quite a bit. But for us, we need to handle it like any other game and one play at a time, do our job at the best possible level we can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Daryl Ryder, go ahead.
Yeah, Baker, piggybacking off Ashley a little bit there. Just the challenge of going into what will probably be a charged atmosphere at Heinz Field, and then going against that defense, which it doesn't seem to matter what year, they always seem to find a way to play good against the Browns. Just could you touch on the challenge of, going into that type of atmosphere and facing that tough Steelers defense?
Yeah, they've been playing at a high level for a long time. That's why they've been up at the top of the AFC North for a long time. So we know what to expect. It's not going to be a surprise to us. If anybody told you otherwise, they'd be lying. So we know them well. They know us well. It's going to be a great challenge and a great atmosphere. So like I said, we just have to do our job one play at a time and just keep swinging till that clock hits zero.
You mentioned, you pretty much know what to expect from them. Do you go back and look at the game from earlier this season at home and dissect that? And I know you don't want to get into a, paralysis by analysis type of situation, but can you really lean on that to get an idea of exactly what they plan to do to stop you guys?
Yeah, I think they've changed, just a few minor tweaks here and there throughout the year, and that's what everybody does. But going into it with Keith Butler as their DC and their scheme being the same over the years, you can kind of tell how they want to defend you. Now they're going to have minor tweaks and different looks for you. That's what they do. But we have to expect that and just react and play and trust our eyes. So it's just one of those things that, when it comes down to base scheme and foundation of what they're trying to get accomplished, we know what to expect. But they're going to have minor changes that we have to be prepared for.
Thank you, Daryl. We'll take one more for Baker. Marla Reiner, go ahead.
Yeah, Baker, I know you said you had respect for Ben, but is there some part of his game or any that you admire most?
I think there's a lot that I admire about his game and respect it, to be honest with you. His play, he extends plays, but he trusts his guys thoroughly. He trusts his receivers, tight ends, all those guys to make plays for him. And he's done it consistently, no matter who's been out there with him. And just, when it comes to fourth quarter or coming back and sparking drives for a comeback, and when a play is needed to be made, he's consistently done that for a long, long time. And that's just something that you can't teach. He's just had that. And that's why he's had success for so long.